You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted best of Pahrump for 4 years. Give them a call, 775-727-9900. News 25 is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating, new, service, and repair. Call Gunny's, 775-727-6800.
Hello and welcome to this edition of News 25. I'm Unette Gentry. Thanks for joining us on A's Country Radio, and we're also streaming at KPVM.TV. We're also on your Roku devices. It is Tuesday, July 21st. In our top story, News 25's Jillian Tuck was on the scene of a two-vehicle crash here in Pahrump this morning.
At approximately 10:05 this morning, emergency crews responded to a two-vehicle crash in the intersection of Honeysuckle Street and Dandelion in Pahrump. First responders arrived on the scene to find two vehicles blocking part of the intersection while they assessed the drivers and secured the area. Fortunately, no injuries were reported as a result of the collision. Traffic was briefly impacted while the vehicles were removed and the scene was cleared. The cause of the crash has not been released.
Brought to you by Pahrump Spine and Wellness. Injured? Call them today. They work with 5 of the best personal injury attorneys in Pahrump. You only have one spine. Take care of it.
And in more area news, a Pahrump man reportedly set his Toyota truck on fire and has been charged with fraud. Christy Willis reports.
A Pahrump man is facing a felony charge after prosecutors allege he intentionally set fire to a vehicle. According to court documents, Stephen Sims has been charged with burning property with intent to defraud an insurancer, a Category B felony under Nevada law. Prosecutors allege that on or between December 13th and December 14th of 2024, Sims willfully set fire to, caused to be burned, or participated in the burning of a Toyota Tundra that was located near AMP Automotive Repair on State Street in Pahrump. The criminal complaint alleges the truck was insured against fire loss at the time of the incident, and that the alleged burning was carried out with the intent to injure or defraud the insurance company. Court documents further state that prosecutors are pursuing the case under multiple theories of criminal liability, alleging Sims either directly committed the offense, aided or encouraged another person to commit it, or participated as part of a conspiracy.
A woman is under arrest for reportedly trying to cash in counterfeit money at Lakeside Casino here in Pahrump.
A woman is facing multiple charges after deputies say she attempted to use counterfeit money at a Pahrump casino. According to the Nye County Sheriff's Office, just before 10 p.m. on Sunday, July 19th, deputies responded to Lakeside Casino on South Homestead Road after reports that a woman was attempting to pass fake $100 bills and refused to leave the property. When deputies arrived, casino security had already detained the woman. Security told investigators she allegedly tried to cash a counterfeit $100 bill at the casino cage and also attempted to insert another fake $100 bill into a gaming machine. They also reported she was striking a gaming machine, but did not cause any damage. Deputies say the woman refused repeated requests from casino security to leave the property. When deputies asked her to identify herself, she repeatedly refused to provide her name despite being lawfully ordered to do so. Investigators say she did not have any form of identification in her possession at the time of her arrest and was observed sweating heavily and behaving erratically. After taking the woman into custody, deputies allegedly found 13 counterfeit $100 bills in her possession. She was transported to the Nye County Detention Center, where she was initially booked in under Jane Doe and was later identified as Jewel Peck. Peck has been charged with attempting to use a fake note or forged instrument, trespassing, and obstructing a public officer.
News 25 continues our coverage now regarding data center protests and meetings. And a group gather at the Pahrump Library to hear from activist Justine Labello and candidate for Nevada Assembly District 36, John Penn, as they speak about the pros and cons of data centers, and about 100 people attended.
On Saturday, July 18th, Justine Labello hosted a community information event at the Pahrump Library on East Street to educate residents about artificial intelligence and data centers. The presentation focused on explaining what AI is, how it is used, and some of the benefits and concerns surrounding the rapidly growing technology. Labello began by breaking down the difference between what is and is not considered artificial intelligence in easy-to-understand terms. She also discussed the impact AI is having on creative fields, including concerns from artists about how the technology is changing the industry. The presentation then shifted to explaining what data centers are, how they operate, and why they are becoming an increasingly important part of supporting AI and other digital technologies. Throughout the event, attendees watched several informational videos, including one featuring the renowned environmental activist Erin Brockovich discussing data center development and its potential impacts.
So it began with about 30 individuals from one community in the morning, all at once, sending me information about data centers, how they felt, what was going on. Anytime that happens to me, I tend to immediately go, that's kind of odd. I'm a very curious person. And I could quickly see doing some of my research and looking around at stuff that this wasn't just one town. What I've learned about communities, Laura, is they will always handle the truth. They will always work with you, but they'll never handle a lie. An entire country just has better things to do in their life, and I've learned this in Hinckley and every other case I've worked on, than to make up these outlandish, crazy lies. So I will always believe exactly what they're reporting to me. So you can't just ram something like this down their throat. And to see it at this level is shocking to me. This isn't a Hinckley in one state. This is in every state, in multiple counties and cities. It's stunning.
To conclude the presentation, Dr. John Penn delivered an impassioned statement to those in attendance.
So what can representatives do? How about listen to their community?
Amen.
How about listen instead of talking and preaching? Because we have enough of that, and it doesn't really solve anything for everyone. I can only speak for myself. I'm definitely against bringing a data center to Pahrump. It takes time for these cancers to really come out. And because AI and data centers are so new, there's so much we just don't know about them. And you see these companies that promise the world to try to get them in place because they're going to be profiting from them. And what happens if someone gets sick down the road, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line? We saw this in 9/11 as well, where the first responders, they came in because they were very brave, of course, and 5 years later, 10 years later, they started developing these 9/11 type of cancers, right? But why? Because they were brave, because they had guts, and they saved people.
And we have info from a billionaire in our sports report coming up after this break.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, one of Walmart's billionaire heirs could be shopping for something a little more than rollback prices. An NBA team. Mikey Ruhan has that now.
Time now for your News 25 look at sports and streaming at KPVM.TV and now on Roku devices. Nancy Walton Lowry and Bill Lowry are reportedly considering a bid for an NBA expansion franchise in Las Vegas. According to Sportico, the Henderson couple is weighing whether to jump into what is expected to be a very competitive race. The Lowrys have an estimated net worth of $17.8 billion. So if they do buy a team, let's say they'll probably just skip the layaway plan. At that price, they could probably afford courtside seats. But buying the whole team does save on ticket fees. And if Vegas lands an NBA franchise, well, will finally have a hometown team where the biggest gamble isn't the point spread, it's trying to find parking on game night. Asia Wilson poured in 26 points, Jackie Young added a season-high 24 points and 12 assists, and the Las Vegas Aces absolutely turned the Toronto Tempo into the Toronto Slowpo, cruising to a 109-83 victory on Monday night. At one point, the scoreboard was scoring almost as fast as Asia. The Aces hit the road on Wednesday to take on Washington. The Las Vegas Aviators return home Tuesday night to open a 6-game series against the El Paso Chihuahuas at Las Vegas Ballpark. First pitch is set for 7:05. The series runs through Sunday, and yes, the Chihuahuas are hoping their bite is bigger than their batting average. The Athletics' future Las Vegas Ballpark is still under construction, but it's already becoming a work of art. The team has partnered with Muros to transform the construction walls into giant murals created by local artists. And that's your look at sports on News 25.
Thanks so much, Mikey. And turning now to political news, would you be willing to pay for early access to posts from President Trump? Well, the president's social media platform could be rolling out a paid component of Truth Social that they say would let you see messages before others. News 25's Chris Palermo reports.
President Donald Trump's Truth Social will be launching a paid service that will allow access to early posts. A short press release from the Truth Social's public parent, Trump Media and Technology, said there will be a chance to view the highest-ranking accounts before others for a fee. That fee has not been specified, and the statement from the company said that customers have already signed up. With 12.9 million followers on Truth Social, President Trump has the most on that platform. It's presumed his account will be in the mix of the high-ranking accounts. However, there are concerns from critics because presidential policy announcements are considered public property that should be free and available. This, according to an Associated Press article. The enhanced paid service is called Truth PSI. And the press release announced that trading institutions and firms from Wall Street could see certain posts earlier than other users. A rep from the Watchdog Project on Government Oversight said everything the president says, has market implications, according to Associated Press. It should be noted that no other social media platform has this access to the president. It's suggested now that banks and traders will have to pay for this information. This paid upgrade and service is comparable to other social media platforms, but the difference here is that it's the president of the United States that is doing the posting. There are apparently no stopgaps in place that would legally not allow Trump to do this. Trump's family company, the Trump Organization, declined to comment on the Associated Press article.
Of course, we love Mikey's sports report, but my favorite segment from him is coming up next, the weekend road trip, and Mikey has a perfect idea for an excursion to Rhyolite, a ghost town with a lot of history. But you do need to gas up because we will be taking the road right now.
Just about an hour and a half drive, the ghost town of Rhyolite. On your way there, stop in Beatty, but drive safely for our borough buddies. In the year 1904, Rhyolite became the place to find quartz full of gold. There were over 2,000 claims. The town immediately boomed with buildings springing up. One building was 3 stories tall and cost $90,000 to build. In April of 1907, electricity came to Rhyolite, and by August of that year, a mill had been constructed to handle 300 tons of ore. The financial panic of 1907 took its toll on Rhyolite and was seen as the beginning of the end for the town. In the next few years, mines started closing, banks failed, newspapers went out of business. Remnants of Rhyolite's glory days still exist. Some of the walls of the 3-story bank building are still standing, as is part of the old jail. And the train depot. The train depot is one of the few complete buildings left in town, as is the Bottle House. The Rhyolite ghost town is full of history and historic sites.
Find out how you can help local students with school supplies after this break.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
Welcome back. Well, it's that time of year again, and a few school supplies can help go a long way for our local families. So Valley Electric Association's annual Fill the Bucket event is returning this weekend, and here's how you can get involved.
This segment of News 25 is brought to you by Valley Electric and its family of companies focused on serving our members. We're better together.
Valley Electric Association is excited to host our annual Fill the Bucket Truck Back to School Supply Drive. We invite our wonderful community to join us on Saturday, July 25th from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. to help local students get everything they need for a successful new school year. Our team would love to see you. Come say hello and drop off your donations at any of our convenient neighborhood locations: Pahrump Albertsons, Smith's Food and Drug, Walmart, or the Valley Conference Center, located at 800 East Nevada Highway 372. If you can't make it out Saturday but still want to help, you can drop off supplies early in our main lobby during regular business hours from now until Friday, July 24th. We also are happy to accept monetary donations in the lobby through our website or over the phone by calling 775-727-5312. Every single donation stays right here at home, benefiting local schools throughout VEA's service territory. Thank you so much for your generosity and support for our local students.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Let's take a look through our Lerner and Rowe weather cam at this cloudy July day. But will that cloud cover shield us from the heat? Not likely, since there's a heat advisory coming up through Monday. More in weather next.
Weather is sponsored by the Nevada Dairy Farmers and the Dairy Council of Nevada, sharing the love of all things dairy. Celebrate the best moments with milk. Milk the moment. And the weather is also brought to you by the Ponderosa Dairy, Nevada's largest dairy, fresh from our farm to your table.
Hello, Romy here on this high temperature Tuesday. Let's take a look at our surrounding areas. Fernley, we have a high of 92, Fallon at 94, Carson City and Tonopah with a high of 86 degrees, Goldfield at 90, Beatty at 100, Amargosa at 106, Las Vegas with a high of 100, and Death Valley scorching at 116. Currently here in Pahrump, it is 100 degrees. The high today was 102. Winds coming from the south at 11 miles per hour, humidity at 22%, and the sunrise was at 5:42 a.m. And tonight, the sunset will be at 7:57 p.m., humidity at 26%, winds coming from the east-southeast at 9 miles per hour, and the low will be 78 degrees. We have one hot week ahead. Wednesday, we have a high of 105, Thursday, a high of 108, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have a high of 109, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, it'll be partly cloudy, Monday with the high of 108, and Tuesday with the high of 106. And that was the weather. Now back to the desk. Here's Unette.
Thanks so much, Romy. Always great to see your sunshiny face. See what we did there? Sunshine. And speaking of, that sun leads to lots of heat, and that heat is going to lead to the temperatures continuing to increase and a heat advisory through Monday. So stay hydrated out there, everyone. Drink plenty of water. That does it for this edition of News 25. I'm Unette Gentry, and from all of us here at KPVM and A's Country Radio, thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the air next newscast. Good night.